Hey everybody, Kyle Sasser here. It's everyone's favorite time of the month. That's right, real estate market statistics time. These real estate market statistics are for the Dayton Metro area for April 2024. Now, if you would like your own copy of this report, there will be a link in the description down below so you can follow along. And on that report, you might notice that even though I'm calling these the April stats, the month on the report is March. Why is that? Well, March is the most recent month that we have complete statistics. I don't typically like to do daily or week-to-week statistics because there can be things like storms or holidays or just some other odds and ends that just really affects the week-to-week. Most recently, we had a Easter holiday. So I usually tend to compare month to month because that gives enough time for everything to kind of get smoothed out a little bit. The other piece we're comparing here is we're not comparing month to month. So we're not comparing March 2024 to February 2024 necessarily. What we usually want to look at is March 2024 compared to March 2023. And the reason why we compare year to year versus month to month is because during the typical calendar year, there's a natural ebb and flow to real estate. Wintertime, there's typically a little bit less activity than there is in late spring and summertime. So we look at month to month because otherwise, it would look like it has big jumps when really that's just what always happens. Now, I have been paying more attention to the month to month stuff just because the market's been a little wacky the last couple years. So I will touch on that a little bit in our report. But by and large, whenever we're looking at real estate trends, we want to compare March 2023 to March 2024, because the honest truth is real estate trends are definitely more of a long-term thing. Real estate trends typically are months to years, not days or weeks. Now, if you've been watching these videos for a while, you know that the last few months I've been predicting that more than likely we will see the number of buyers come back to the market in spring. More than likely we'll chew through the amount of inventory that we've built up in the last few months over the wintertime, with the result being an increase in home prices again. The market just isn't really set up for much else other than that at this point. It's primarily a supply problem with where demand is at currently. Basically, the number of home buyers has been pretty close to the number of homes that are being put up for sale. And basically, the number of buyers would swing based on the time of the year we are, and that's when the home prices go up for a few months and then they go down for a few months. That's why we've kind of been teeter-tottering the last few years. All right, let's dive in to these market statistics for Dayton, Ohio. Total number of closed sales was down 2% to 1,026 homes from 1,047. Median sales price was up 14.7% from $200,500 to $229,950. Average sales price was up 12.5% from $243,551 to $273,878. Median percent of original list price was down 0.3%. That went from 98.7 to 98.4%. And median time to sale went down 2% from 49 to 48 days. So not really a big shift there. Total number of new listings dropped 2.5% from 1,291 to 1,259. But total active inventory is actually slightly up, 4.2% from 1,018 to 1,061 homes. Foreclosures and short sales hasn't really been a big shift. There was a total of 1 both months for short sales, and foreclosures dropped 28.6% from 14 to 10. Now, one thing to note on median sales price is that we are pretty much breaking new ground with record median sales prices. And that is primarily a function of there being fewer homes for sale. I mean, we literally only have 1,000 homes for sale in the entire Dayton metro area. That's not just, Dayton, that's Dayton, Oakwood, Beavercreek, Springboro, Centerville, Pick was in there, Troy, Tipp City, Miamisburg, basically, the 5-county area of the Miami Valley. That is all the homes that are for sale. That is not a lot. So the issue is when you have that little amount of supply and the number of sales is holding relatively steady with it, home prices are going to go up. It's just simple supply and demand. Now, the median percent of original list price, that has come down some. It's not as low as it was in December and January when it was in the 97s. But it's also not as high as the 100% that it was April, May, June, July, August, September of last year. And the thing to keep in mind is as more buyers come in, if the number of new listings is not enough to grow that inventory, prices are probably going to go up significantly again. You can see here on this chart, this is the number of new listings. You can see that this is basically, we're historic lows for the number of new listings here. There was a grand total of 788 in December, 1,026 in January. And to give some context, if we go back to like January 2020, which, pre-COVID time, there was well over 1,500 homes listed just in that 1 month. And we're currently at 1,259. And then in March 2020, there was basically 1,500 homes listed, but currently we're at 1,259. So whenever you ask yourself, why is the home market doing what it's doing, these supply and demand numbers are really the core issue. Median time to sale ticked up like it always does through the wintertime, up into higher than it had been for most of the previous year. Did get slightly longer than 2022, but still relatively short. So 48 days time to sale. What you want to do with that number is you usually want to kind of knock off about 30 days of that, and that will tell you roughly what the time to contract is. So most contracts are typically 30-ish days. Sometimes they can be shorter, 25 days, but that's a little unusual. But typically I'll just knock 30 days off that and figure, it's probably somewhere in the 1 to 2 weeks time to contract. But you can see there's, definitely the trend on the charts here. The really interesting bit to me, though, is that it hasn't moved that much. I mean, if we go back to 2020, we were up above 50 days for sure. The interesting thing to me is that if we go back to like 2019, yes, we are pretty clearly above 50 days, but all through the COVID craziness and the housing crunch and all that stuff, this has not shortened up to like crazy town numbers. There's some other markets that I'm involved in, Tampa and St. Petersburg, where the time to contract got down to literally like 5 days. And that's across the entire market, not just particular houses. The Dayton market, by comparison, at least so far as time to sale, holds a little bit more steady than that. Now, let's dive into the closed sales by sales price, because the honest truth is $1 million home sells with a little bit different time frame than a $300,000 home. And that's primarily buyer pool. There's just fewer buyers in the $1 million market. So 200 to 250,000, 29.4% increased number of homes sold. Up to 163, 250 to 300,000 was a 6.4% increase to 133. 300 to 400,000 increased 12% to 159. 400 to 600,000 increased 11.9% to 122. 600 to $1 million went up 34.5% to 39 closed sales, and $1 million or more doubled. It was up 100%, total of 8 homes. Number of new listings as we look here at the various price points. Under 300,000, there's fewer homes going up for sale in those price points. Whereas above 300, there's more. So some of this will be homes sliding up into a higher tax bracket as the median home price has increased. So, and I'll just hit some of the high points here. So 100 to 150,000 dropped 20.2% to 154 homes sold. 150 to 200,000 dropped 4.1% to 233. 200 to 250,000 dropped 6% to 158. And 250 to 300 dropped 4.1% to 140. 400 to 600,000 saw a 17.6% increase to 160. 600 to $1 million went up to 20.8% to 64. And $1 million or more than doubled, went up 133.3% to 14. Now, interestingly though, if we look at the total number of homes sold broken down by price point, everything is held relatively the same, 1 or 2%, so 100 to 150, there's 1.8% more homes available in that price range for 114. 200 to 250 saw a decrease of 2.6%, total of 76. 250 to 300, it went up 9.3%, 118, so that's not a bad increase. 400 to 600,000, only a 0.6% change to 164. 600 to $1 million, though, went up 35.8% to 110. But $1 million or more, about the same number of homes for sale. Decrease of 3.4%, total of 28. So those are the statistics for the Dayton Metro area. Now, if you remember back to your math classes, you might remember average and median. So average, obviously, is when you take, let's say, 5 houses, you add up what those sold for, divided by 5, that gives you the average sales price. Median sales price is a little bit different. Median is the point at which there's an equal number of homes for sale at a higher price point and a lower price point. So a little bit different than average, but typically I prefer median home price because it tends to smooth out if there was a significant number of very expensive homes or very inexpensive homes that sold in a given month. And that becomes something that you have to keep in mind when the number of total sales has decreased, which is something that we have seen in the last couple years here. So whenever you have a fewer number of homes sold, then obviously any small change has a larger percentage impact on that sales price. So you're probably thinking, Kyle, those are all great numbers and all. What does it really mean? Well, so basically in the Dayton area here, the number of homes going up for sale and the number of buyers has been pretty evenly matched for a while now. So pretty clearly, unless we have some large influx of inventory that surpasses greatly the number of home buyers, the home market is basically going to continue to do what it's doing, which is, buyers come back in the spring and summertime, prices start to go up again, and we're probably going to be setting new, median home prices this year. When you look at it, the demand side is a little more flexible than the supply side, primarily because it takes a long time to build a new home. That's not something that you can just pump out. So it's basically existing home sales plus new construction. And just the sentiment out there is not to sell houses. Just the number of new listings is low. And so what happens is we have the wintertime break, prices tend to decline a little bit. Buyers come back in the springtime and summertime, they chew through the inventory, and then prices start going up again. Obviously I do keep an eye on this every month. So if there's some sort of shift in the market, I'll be sure to bring that to your attention. But yeah, just the number of new listings is at such historic lows that there's not really too much of a alternative setup for the market currently. So if you've been thinking about buying, I would encourage you to try to, definitely get out there and get looking now, because things is probably going to tighten up over the summertime. If you've been thinking about selling your home, now is the time to start getting that preparation. It's going to take a month or two to get it ready for sale, get the professional photographs and everything taken, get the marketing done, get it up for sale. And then it's going to take, another 2 to 6 weeks to get it sold. And that's really going to put us at the sweet spot for when, the prices should really be getting hectic. Some little bit of good news is Dayton is a little bit more stable than a lot of the rest of the country. There's some places that have been in a bit of a decline, but overall, Dayton, it just seems to be pretty steady Eddie. So thank you so much for tuning in for these Dayton market statistics. My name is Kyle Sasser. Love to help you with your home decision in the Dayton Metro area. I do cover most of the Dayton Metro and, points in between, Springfield, Springboro. So if you have any questions about the home market or thoughts, concerns, feel free to leave them in the comments down below. If you would like direct help, I'd be happy to help you out. You can reach me at 727-300-2111. You can also book a chat with the link in the description down below for the time that works best for you. I try to make it easy as possible. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll talk to you soon.